Hello, my name is Wilmer Germano. So today we're going to go ahead and talk about the book You Have the Right to Remain Innocent by James Duane. Something that this book speaks to the reader um, about is how important it is to not speak to the police. So a very good example, the first good example from this book is about 16-year-old Na Trong. She is, of course, a young teenager, a young mother. She just experienced the birth of her newborn, and then suddenly the baby dies from suffocation. Well, after a few days of the incident, the police pick her up. They start asking her questions, which eventually leads up to an illegal interrogation. Um, After them talking, I guess the outcome was that she gave, or not I guess, but she gave a false confession due to them cornering her and kind of grooming her in order to give some sort of statement. They would tell her that they would go easy on her because she was a juvenile, and that they would do their best for it not to get to an adult court or an adult consequence, to say the least. So during the matter, it took about 3 years before the conclusion was that the charges would be dropped or dismissed, due to the police giving her an illegal interrogation, also getting a false confession. Um, Now, the whole ordeal here is that she could have avoided all that if she would have not spoken to the police. Of course, you're young, you're naive, especially something that the how big this case is. Um, I mean, she could have definitely sought some legal help, but this is the aftermath of not knowing and right away just talking to the police. The second case is about Salvador Rubio. He is 17 years old from Illinois. He was involved in a case where I think the minimum to his case was about 45 years. And so he ends up talking to the police, where they kind of work him up into making him feel comfortable, letting him know that, things happen, kind of misleading him. Now, he ends up making some sort of admission, and during the trial, his attorney is arguing the fact that the police were somehow, kind of walking him through this maze of admittance or admission, sorry, and ultimately the court rules in the favor of the police, saying that they were in no way misleading him, and in fact mentioned that he should have picked up on the police not giving him any legal and proper advice in order for him to make an admission. There is another situation that could have ultimately not been avoided just due to the seriousness of the case, but he tacked on 15 more years because of him speaking to the police. You know, that right there is a good example of, there are laws that are written, and there are people that should abide by them, but then at the same time, because they can write the laws, they know how to navigate through these laws and to ultimately get something out of someone, especially if there is enough evidence. He could have saved himself about 15 years, but that was a result of him just jumping right away to the and talking to the police. Now, there are 8 reasons why we shouldn't speak to the police, or that you should know as to what to do if in an encounter with the police. And not answering any questions when they ask you, like, who are you and what are you doing here, and or what's your purpose, right? The second one would be police can mislead to false confession. Police walk you into illegal interrogations without you knowing them about them. The court will always argue and change a law to help lying cops and to allow them to be even more deceitful. Something important is that the Fifth Amendment itself has limitations. The law of evidence is only allowed if it can help the police in cases, and police when, getting your statements together for a trial. There could be something that could be good for you and on your behalf, but they're going to go ahead and pick and choose as to what they can use and cannot use against you. And remaining silent alone can create suspicion of any criminal act, even if you are innocent. Ultimately, something that I get from this book, and something James Duane speaks out to the reader, is that the bottom line is clear. Even if you are innocent, the police will do whatever it takes to get you to talk, if they think that you are guilty. And I completely understand his words in this book, and I've personally been in a situation where I shouldn't have spoken to the police, which I didn't. I just, I was young, I was naive, I really didn't know. All I knew is that if there was any trouble with the law, always get a lawyer.